Guys, it's Game here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the new Gorrila Tag DLC. This is called SUPERINFECTION. It adds a new game mode to all the maps, except the skate park and the blocks and stuff like that in the reactor update. Just the normal maps that involve mostly tagging. SUPERINFECTION is where it adds sort of like mods to the game itself. You're able to buy thrusters, long arms, spawn platforms. It's almost like modding, but they give you that ability. And it's part of the game's mechanics. And it's also it cannot just be abused. Some people, I'm sure, abuse it, but I think that most of the lobbies I've been in isn't pretty balanced. You could easily get like the thruster with 7 skill points, do the daily quests. It's pretty reasonably achievable, especially in one day. A lot of new people to this update might be like, oh no, it's modding or this is cheating. Sometimes they might not even realize they're in a SUPERINFECTION lobby. And it's quite an experience because I used to not like the forest map. It was my least favorite. This makes it so much easier to navigate. I use the thrusters. My favorite setup is using thrusters on both of my hands. And it makes it so much fun. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like I love personally in my life, I love flying and I love aerospace and I like that experience of being free. The rockets are my favorite because the thrusters you can go from somebody's trying to tag you and in one split second you're across the map. It's crazy. And I've never reached the top of the stump. And you're able to do that with the thrusters. So really worth it to try out this update if you have not. And if you're really curious and you want to watch more of SUPERINFECTION, really tune into my live streams. I stream on YouTube here almost every other day. I try to be consistent. I only play the games I really enjoy. So most of the stuff I stream are games I'm just playing. Just for that moment. I'm not just like doing it for the specifically. I'm doing it because I actually do like it. That's why I started out as a GTA creator and I've kind of moved away from that to start other projects, play other games because of that. I just felt like I was too obsessed with GTA in unhealthy ways. It was more of a habit than an enjoyment. Like grinding money was a means to no end. Because you can make 50 million, but then it doesn't get you anywhere. You don't actually gain new experiences, new stuff. It's just the same thing over and over. This is what I really like about Gorrila Tag is that they really put good amount of decent updates every couple months. So last couple updates were the Ghost Reactor. I play that constantly. That was my favorite mode. It was addictive to me because instead of having to chase, you had to work with your teammates and you have to essentially get a quota and make sure you're able to grab all the different, those little blocks. I'm trying to remember what they're called. And it's really enjoyable. I really liked killing the monsters, flashing them, then going ham on the sword on them. It's so fun. And the first version of Ghost Reactor was kind of beta. It was really hard to see. But the new maps make it a lot more easier to actually see the enemies. So you don't have to actually hold a lantern, which I'm really happy about. So far, really happy with the game. Whenever I get really tired of it, there's always a new update and I'm always coming back. I think that's really good for this game. Now, my experience also with lobbies as an adult, I'm 23 years old, a lot of slurs from kids. I don't know what's with kids nowadays. Anything they repeat 6, 7, and all the skibbity toilet, Rizzler, Chadwood, all that nonsense. These sort of things travel to so many different kids, I'm guessing. To YouTube, kids, or whatever they watch or talk online or in person with their friends. It seems like universally, all these kids know the same memes or same jokes, and they all just spurred it. So, it's annoying. For me, it's just cringe. But honestly, aside from that, it's pretty funny. I've met some really cool people in the game. Not many people my age. I don't really make friends in the game. It's not my age range. But I really do enjoy that. There's some people you meet in the game that are helpful. Some are just total assholes. So like most of the time, whenever I'm doing something new, I'll just ask somebody. I'll be like, "Hey, how do I get bouncy ribbons or whatever for the quest?" And he's like, "Oh, you have to go to this map, Metro." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Sometimes they tell you the right map, sometimes they don't tell you the right map. Some act like they know what they're doing, some don't. Some spent bazillion on cosmetics. I don't even care about that stuff because you only see it yourself, so I don't see the point. So, a really interesting game and community overall. I really enjoy. Other games that have like motion sickness sometimes, like VR chat. Like if you move a certain direction, you're sitting down or standing up, and you're just moving, like with the controller, like a different direction. It feels unnatural. Like sometimes it fucks with my head a little bit. I get a little dizzy. I don't get major motion sickness from games, but that sometimes does affect me. There's ways around it, but I don't even like the visual ways of them putting that black box around you to kind of comfort you turning. Gorilla Tag is a little different because it's none of that nonsense. It's really simple. It's one of the most simple VR games I've ever played. Not a lot of crazy mechanics. And it's fairly easy to pick up. I'm kind of remembering the first level, and it's like on top of forest. And it's quite difficult at first. Like you kind of have to remember, how do you bounce? How do you push down the ground? It's a lot. But then after a while, it becomes like driving. It's just really natural. And I think a lot of people can just achieve that if they just practice. So a lot of people I know in lobbies, they always ask questions. How do I play this game? How do I do this? Well, my answer to you is just practice. Just try it. Don't just like, you can watch YouTube videos to see how people are actually moving, or you can just try a different thing. Try different things with your hands and arms. You'll kind of see the reaction in the game in real time. And that's kind of how I learned. A lot of the stuff I learned is just by playing it, just practicing and trying new things out, trying to bounce on the walls, trying to, if I fail, I just keep trying again. And I think that's the nice thing about this game is it's a challenge at first, but it's something you can master. And I like games like that because you could always get somewhere. And when games are too easy, it becomes boring. But Gorilla Tag really stimulates your mind because you're always moving. Like my cousin, he was playing the game, quite young. He was sweating crazy because the movement really pushes you. You're like actually moving. It's like Beat Saber. But I argue it's probably more intense than Beat Saber because it's constant running. Like you're constantly moving both arms. And that's the same as Saber, but I feel like it's more intense when you're having to run away from some lava monkey who's screaming slurs at you. So, sort of things are like that. A little more intense. I don't know. Being chased and you got an army of people chasing you, it's going to make you sweat because you're going to be pushing yourself to the limit. You may hit the control on the wall. And that's another thing I want to talk to you guys about. Is for beginners, I really recommend you make sure you have a proper boundary. If you have a Meta Quest headset, now I'm not talking about the Steam Deck or whatever, the Steam frame. If you have the Quest 3 or Quest 2, you're able to create a boundary where it's like a virtual play space where it limits you on where to walk. In a way, it helps you because if, for example, you almost accidentally hit a wall, it helps you prevent that from happening. It shows you a red ring when you're out of that space to kind of help you know where you are. And with Gorilla Tag, I can't even explain how many times I've hit things in my room. Eventually, I found a good play space that's kind of generally good. It's small, but it's okay. But it'll do the work. But you just got to keep sure your boundaries in that little area that you can play in. And make sure it's really precise. Don't try to put your boundary a little more against the wall. Try to keep it a safe space against from the wall, just in case. Because I've heard stories of people splitting their fingernails, and I sure almost have too. And that's something a lot of people don't talk about. So yeah, that's my experience playing the game. I really enjoy it so far. That's why I stream it a lot. You've seen a lot of content coming from Gorilla Tag. It's a kid's game, but I think everybody can play it, and it's really fun for most VR beginners. My favorite maps are kind of enjoying Metro. It's a new feel for me. I really always like the caves. Kind of got tired of that. Kind of main right now is Forest, just because it's a new experience for me when the thrusters gives you a lot of space. So overall, this DLC is amazing. The little long cans, the thrusters, the guns, it just adds a lot more flavor to normal tag. I think everybody can enjoy it. This game has something for everybody. Flying, you can do flying in clouds. You can literally do skateboarding. And you could play a lot of different games in VR that are specific to some things. Like, I'll give you an example. You can buy a game on Quest that's only dedicated to bowling, or only dedicated to table tennis, or only dedicated to this or that. But what I find is that you can mostly get these experiences for free using VR chat or Gorilla Tag. Gorilla Tag is a really good sandbox system. So there's a lot of custom maps. You can even load and play with your friends. Arguably, I think this is way better in some ways than VR chat. In some ways, VR chat still tanks is much more realistic. But Gorilla Tag is just it's like the young kid version of VR chat. Like, it's the most dumbed down version, the most simplest version. Having a basic avatar, you can customize, cosmetics, whatever, and a bit of a game modes that are built into it, and a bit of customization and user-generated content. It's a really good blend of stuff. And overall, the game really performs well in my Quest 3. And when I had a Quest 2, it was okay. But Quest 3 is better. So, overall, it's the reason why I got a Quest 3. And a single-handedly great game you should try. That's Gorilla Tag. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.